Breathe in, breathe out. Is there anything I'm sure about? I've gotta know myself if the world changes. Breathe in, breathe out. There's nothing I can do about anyone or anything but me. Am I too young or old to change? If I don't try, then everything will stay the same. So if I wanted something different for myself, I better make some choices and make them right now. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. I believe in my team, and I believe in you. So let's drop in and kick some ass like good randoms do. Because we're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. The best random ever.
Ha! I had the cover on. I did a little pose and everything, and I had a little cover on there. It's to protect me. Chat. Chat! How the heck are ya? Best random ever. Welcome to episode 6 of Best Random Ever. I'm your host, C2. Today we're going to be talking about expectations. Perfect day. Dr. Yesterday, thank you so much for cheering 200 biddies. You're a maniac. That song was so gosh darn hype. Listen, if you're not hype, if you are not ready to be the best random ever after that song, I can't help you. Not that you need help, because you're perfect the way you are. All right. My expectations were shattered. What? Shattered? What? Hold on, let me fix my light. Okay. So, talking about expectations, talking about what we're expecting, and perhaps maybe what we should not be expecting. Today is the season beginning, the season opener. It's like baseball of Apex Legends, season 11. And usually on this day, usually the week before, my expectations were shattered in a good way. Oh, good. I'm glad. So usually on this day, you guys play Apex, right? You guys know about this day that we go through every season where everyone's like, I'm so excited for all of my dreams to happen today. All of my dreams, they're coming true today. And it's literally the same. It's actually wild how it's literally the same thing on the internet every season. Everyone's so hyped up for the season, and even though, and this is also interesting, even though there is inevitably some type of problem, some foreseeable yet also unforeseeable problem that befalls Apex on this day, whether it be like the legend, and there's always going to be, the other thing is that somebody's always going to be disappointed, and that's fine. even the one season that didn't have it didn't have any server issues, which it always has server issues. I don't know of a game that doesn't have server issues on like a big day. Even that day, even that season, was that this past season or the season before it? It was Seer's season. Was that just this past season? Bad Apex streamer. No server issues, but everybody was upset. So How is it that we can go from being so goddamn excited to so goddamn devastated in a span of like an hour? Weird. It's almost as if we built up all these expectations of how something should be and how we should feel and how it should happen, that when it doesn't happen that specific way, shattered. Our whole fucking lives are destroyed. There are people, I don't know if you guys are on streamer Twitter or if you guys are on video game Twitter. If you see these tweets from these people. I dip my ladle in some of in assorted Twitters. And anything that you could think of to be upset about, these people fucking find it. They're gonna find it. And they're gonna be upset about it and let you know. And the thing about that is that it's their fault that they're upset. And we don't even have to say like their fault. We don't even have to say fault. You control your own emotions. So, if you're going to go through the hassle of building something up when you haven't experienced it first, you haven't even experienced season 11, but you're going to make assumptions about how it's going to go. And then it doesn't go that way. And you're upset, that's because you made yourself upset. And very self-righteous about another huge thing that I find a lot, especially in gaming, is the self-righteousness about how things work, as if every single gamer is also a developer. Like, that should be easy to fix. But they don't care about us. Assumptions about, like, people not caring about you, like it's a personal thing, like the devs actually fucking hate you specifically, and that's why they didn't patch that one thing that annoys you specifically. A lot of weird stuff. But that's all that to say, like, that is all due to expectations. Things you set, the word should, things that you hold onto so tightly and believe that you set up before getting any actual information about something. And then when it crumbles, or not even when it crumbles, and that's the other thing, your reality that you create crumbles, and then it feels like you lost something. When if you didn't even create that reality and just were like, I want to see what's all that about, you then get introduced to whatever that is all that about. I feel like that's a softer way to get into stuff. That's what I try to do. I definitely have my own self-righteous beliefs about things, and I do wish like the game worked 100% of the time, for sure. Like, things would be nice if I never had to struggle ever. For sure. Yeah, definitely. But what? Should I play the raid song for best random ever? Should we play the raid song? Chat, what do you think? What? Hannah raiding! Oh, this is the first best random ever raid we've ever had! This is the first one! Actually, I'm not gonna play the raid song because it's for my other channel. And this is the Trident Network. Welcome, friends. My name is C2. I'm the host of Best Random Ever, a show about being the best random ever in order to get the best randoms ever. Welcome in. Hannah, I hope you had such a good stream. Oh my god, I am so blessed to have you and your people here. Girl, we're talking about expectations today. Talking about them. It's the season 11, Apex Legends season 11 drop. So we're having a little convo about expectations. I don't remember what I was talking about just before I started screaming. Something about not have. Basically, well, and also is kind of like the basic, I have no interest, which makes me sad. Oh, see, you know what? That's actually better. Because then you're not invested. Although being invested in things is nice. But then you can be pleasantly surprised. Which is generally, that's, you know, easy. It's not bad and it's not good and bad. It's easy and hard. So it's easier. The struggle that we make up about how things don't work and this doesn't work and this should be this and la la la. I have so many soapboxes. Y'all know me. I'm the soapbox queen, okay? I'm the queen of saying how things should be. And then being upset when they aren't like that. I'm the queen of that shit. I'm down to be surprised with Apex. Sometimes I just have times of not being interested. Oh yeah, for sure. And that's, you know, interest wanes and comes and goes. I'm willing to be surprised. And that's why I don't like, I get super excited for new stuff in Apex, but as the time has gone by, I have learned from trial and error to just let the season happen. And if I like it, I like it. And if I don't, I don't. And then I've taken breaks from Apex because I'm like, I'm really not feeling it. And instead of needing the game to be different so that I like it more, maybe I just need to take a break so that I can miss it, which I took like a break from Apex, playing Apex in general. Well, it was because of Valheim, but it was also in general because I was just like, I'm playing Apex a lot and it's just not giving me that little good buzzy feeling in my brain when I'm like, I love this game, which this game usually gives me that buzzy feeling. But that's my body being like, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore. We want to go experience something new, which is okay. Apex is still my favorite game. I just don't always have to play it all the time for it to be that. But also expectations. So then you're setting these expectations. Also setting expectations doesn't really leave a whole lot of room for all the cool shit that you're missing because you weren't even expecting it. And that's in general. So like there's going to be a lot of stuff in this update, and there's going to be a lot of stuff moving forward in any game that you play, honestly, where the developers are the ones who are like in charge of it. Like, even though I know that like, because we're all connected on the internet and it feels like, you know, fans are more involved than ever in video games. It's like, it's still not our game. Like, we help. There's definitely a co-creation going on because the game wouldn't happen if people weren't playing it, but we're not, our job is to play it. Our job isn't to decide, right? Everybody's got a job. Our job isn't to decide and be the judge of like what the game does. We can have feelings about it. We can approve or disapprove, and we can like stop playing a game if we don't like it, or we can start playing a game because it did the thing that we wanted it to do finally. But in terms of the ownership aspect of a game and being like, well, I'm a fan, so they owe me for this game to be good or this game to be what I want it to be because I saw a trailer, is kind of like you miss all the things that the devs are actually putting into the game for you. And it's almost like, I remember I honestly, before like we were all on the internet constantly all the time and I knew everything about everything that was happening that pertained to any of my interests, I would see one picture of a video game cover or like a video game, like I would see like 3 pictures in a magazine of like what this game looked like, and I'd be like, I'm in. $40, take me to Best Buy. And there was like, I was like, I'm ready to figure out what this whole fucking shit is. What is it? And there was like so much like, oh, like you're like 12 years old and I get up on a Saturday morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, I'm going to spend my whole day learning I don't even know what the fuck this game's all about, but I bought it for $40 yesterday. I'm going to play it all day. And like, I didn't know, there were games that I bought that I would just beat, or I would be like, I got $40. Let's go to Best Buy, pick the coolest looking game and play it. Because that was like the thing. That was like, that's how you play a game, is you play it. They give you the game and you play it, and that's the game. And now, a lot of the time it feels like there's a whole game. They're like, we're demanding that they give us the whole game before we even get to play it. And we also demand it like 2 years before it's actually done. And it's like we don't get to be surprised. Like, we don't want to be surprised, but being surprised is fucking killer. It's awesome to be surprised by a game where something happens and you're like, whoa, I didn't, like, that feeling of like, I didn't know this was going to happen. And I have so much respect for even the developers who do that and do, like, are like, nah, it's secret, dude. Which doesn't really, barely happens. Apex, and if you guys remember, Apex was released and had no hype for it. This was like the way that they released Apex. I remember thinking this was like the weirdest shit in the world. The way that they released Apex was that they just released it. They worked on it for however long. I don't know how long they worked on it because I didn't look it up. But they worked on it for however long, and then they just released it. And they were like, here's your game. And how into it was everybody? Especially those first few weeks, first few months. How fucking everybody. I had one person be like, one of my friends be like, this was the game. This was the game that I was waiting for. He stopped playing it like a month later. But people were like, oh my God. This is the game that I've been asking for. And nobody, because they did not set an expectation. They didn't even give us a chance to set an expectation. Because can you imagine with like how it went down with Titanfall 2? Immense sadness if they released Apex Legends. Oh, it would have been fucking panned. If they would have released a bunch of trailers and showed a bunch of stuff, it would have been criticized left and right before it even got released. And then Fortnite probably would have fucking copied a bunch of shit and stole it to do it. So like, where is that person? Get that person here to play Season 11 premiere. What? That person? No, I'll tell you about that person later, Doc. But the thing that helps me with expectations, because it's really hard not to set expectations because our imaginations are so rich and we're so creative. Human beings are so creative. We can make up anything. You can make up, it's usually bad. It's sometimes, I don't want to say it's usually, times it's bad stuff. We're making up a lot of bad shit that's like gonna happen. Oh, all the bad shit's gonna happen. But there are also times that we're like, oh my God, this great thing. Oh, I can't wait until this great thing happens and I have this great thing. It's gonna be great. Which is a better habit to have. But also, in the vein of staying present and in the vein of staying in flow, it's worth it to be like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. You know, they say that, you know, people, whatever happens, happens. Which sounds really lazy when you, like, that can be, like, a really lazy thing to say, right? Like, that can be a really lazy way to go about things. Like, well, whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm never prepared. Fuck everybody else. Like, yeah, there's that, for sure. And I've been that person where I'm just like, fuck other people's plans. We'll figure it out on the way down. But also, there's an element of that that's not like bypassing, like, you know, your personal responsibility and your personal relationships, where as long as you're not attached to a certain outcome, you actually do get the actual outcome. Because if you think about it, you know, I don't want to say mathematically because I'm going to say if you think about it mathematically, and then I'm not going to describe mathematics at all. But if you think about it, like, logically, when you imagine something, you imagine somebody says they're going to bake a pie for you. I'm going to bake a pie for you. And you go, my God, they're going to bake a French apple pie for me. A French crumble apple pie. What's that one called with the crumbly bits? That's the pie you want. That's the pie they're going to make. Oh my God, this is the best day ever. My life. And then it turns out they make you a French silk pie. And it's very delicious, but it's not, you know, the apple crumble pie. And it feels like you lost something. Even though they never said they were going to make you, they just said, I'm going to bake you a pie. Now you feel like you've lost something, even though you've actually gained a French silk pie. So And there's nothing wrong with imagining the best possible outcome. Imagining the best possible outcome gets us ready for, so like when I like think about the season, I'm like, I try to think about the things that I'm excited for. Oh, a new map. I'm excited to explore this new map. I'm excited to see the cool new skins. I'm excited to see the art. I'm excited about what they're going to do with lore, la la la, blah, blah, blah. That's an exercise in preparing your nervous system for something good. I'm excited to go off one of those launcher things. I'm saying, like, they give you enough to where we want you to get excited, right? And you want to be excited. And this is the same thing with, like, life and shit. It's like, you want to be excited to go somewhere or to do something or to start something, for sure. And you do need that, like, spark of joy and hope where it's like, they show us this footage, but they don't show us this footage to replace the actual experience of discovering what it is. Imagining where you're going to be in a year and being hopeful about that isn't to replace your actual present time. It's not used as a replacement. These maps and this new stuff is not used to make us fucking hate the shit that we're doing in the game now and want to go there because fuck this garbage. Like, it's like, no. It's just to get you excited so that you are ready to experience whatever actually happens. Because you can't actually, if you're still stuck, hey, I know this streamer, it's what up, Matt? Hey, Matt, what's up? We're talking about expectations. If you can't be present for what is happening, you're going to upset yourself with a bunch of stuff that is happening that you don't think should be happening, even though that is definitely what's happening. So if you go into this new map and you're like, this is not exactly how I think it needs to be, and that's the only thing you can think of, you won't see any of the good anything. Because you'll be so focused on, and that doesn't mean that, like, the things that you don't like aren't real. Like, yeah, you can definitely be critical of something and not like it, for sure. But if that's the only thing you know how to do, whenever you're experiencing anything new, or when you're experiencing anything like that you decide to experience, if you can only think about all the things in the ways that which is bad, that's all that you'll be able to see. And I have to learn how to do that. I'm learning how to do that all the fucking time. I'm complaining up and down about all the shit in Skyrim that I don't want to do. Because I think it sounds dumb. But then chat's like, actually, you should just go do it. And I'm learning that actually trying, even if it sounds dumb, whatever, it's part of the game. So you go do it, and then you can decide if it's dumb. How about? And that way, and I get, Apex is a free game, right? So, like, the risk-reward ratio is quite high. It's a free game. You can boot it up, and you can try it, and if you really don't like it, you uninstall it. You don't need to play that game. I get that with other games that cost fucking $60, you want some kind of like certainty that it's going to be good because you're spending your money. But I think that's a false sense of security where you're never going to really know if something is good unless you do it. I'm sorry. Which sucks. I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that. I want to know about all the shit that I think is going to be good, and then I can do it and be completely satisfied and never be uncomfortable ever for 1 second in my life. But that's just not how. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. Unfortunately. You learn this. I learn this every single day. And then I'm like, I gotta go try another new thing. I gotta go do another new thing and take a risk. And what if it doesn't pay off? Okay, but what if it does? And that's what I've been pointing at myself about. But it's easier to be curious than it is to tell the story of how something should be and then get disappointed, because that's actually how self-fulfilling prophecies work. If all you do is imagine the ways in which something can go bad, and you never ever even imagine the ways in which they could possibly go good. Like, you don't even, like, and there's, like, the way that time works is that everything has already happened, right? Every possible thing has already happened. We're experiencing time in a linear fashion. And everything that could have happened or might have happened has already happened. Every possible thing has happened in every single timeline. So anything that you imagine could happen, even if it's good or bad. And you don't know until you do it. But if you are attached, and it's really like expectations are really kind of just attachments to outcomes that we can't control, because everything that we do is interacting with a bunch of other people that have free will. So you can't really control the way things pan out, but you can experience the shit out of them. For sure. And that's really our only job. We decide stuff and where we want to go. But really the main point to doing anything is really to do it, right? Like, to actually, like, do it and learn from it. Take your knowledge and continue or move on. So when I see the same thing happen over and over again, or when you see or when we see as gamers the same stuff happen over and over again, it's like, wow, aren't we, like, I'm tired of that same conversation. I'm tired of the conversation of, like, this is how the game that I am not in charge of developing should work. This is how the game should be. This is how, and that's not saying you shouldn't criticize things that you love, because you can criticize things that you love and want them to get better, for sure. That's not criticizing, like, wow, we should really figure out these cheaters. Wow, we should really figure out these, glitches. Wow, we should really figure this out. This is what we really want, because what we give our energy to prospers. But putting energy against something gives the thing that you're against a lot of your energy that could be best spent doing something that you actually enjoy. So if you're really fucking mad about a game, you should stop playing it. Is like the actual thing you should do with your energy. If something is not going the way, if you feel bad playing a game, you get on a game and you feel bad on a game, you stop playing that shit, find another game. And I get the frustration because some gamers be gaming, and you can only afford so many games. And that's none of my business. You got to figure out, you got to do what you got to do. But the universe doesn't know the difference between good and bad. It's just energy and where you put it. So if you complain and bitch and whine and all you do is fucking hate a game and you're still playing it, guess what? The universe is like, you seem to really like this game. You seem to really want to invest a lot of energy into this game. Cool. I'm going to make this game more prevalent in your life. I'm going to make it matter more to you. I'm going to make it harder for you to stop playing it. I'm going to put a bunch of cool skins in this shit so that it's even harder for you to stop, because you keep playing this game that you fucking hate and investing your time and energy into this game that you fucking hate. And that's pretty much, that's the same with a lot of things. It feels right. And I don't know why this is. I'm sure there's some metaphysical law that will tell you why it feels right to push against something. Pushing against the thing that I don't like, thinking that it will change it somehow. And I guess force is a method and does something, but not everything is like a war or a fight, kind of. Not everything requires force. It's like, what's that saying? If you come at everything, if the only tool you use is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But if you vary up your tools, if something's not working because, okay, well, this isn't a nail, then you can get a better solution. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to hammer a screw into something, but that, like, all the way, but that shit's fucking impossible. And I didn't try and hammer in a screw because I thought it would work. But you know how you hammer in the screw, and then you get curious, is like, can I hammer this, like, whole screw in here? Barely. Pretty much no. But you can definitely screw in with a screwdriver. But if you only are a hammer, show us. Prove. And this is something, and also the reason that I wanted to talk about expectations is because this is also something that I'm thinking about and working on and working towards, is like not being attached to an outcome. It's not about not like dreaming and like hoping and wishing. You can dream and hope and wish. That's a really good exercise. But needing things to work out the way, and this is the other thing, is that like thinking that you're like you know better, like you know better all the time than anything and everyone, is like an incredibly isolating feeling. To think that you know how things, you know how everything should go for you and everyone else around you, or for even just for you, like only you know everything, is like, it's not even that that's like wrong or bad. That's just an incredibly isolating feeling to think that like, and also like, oh God, I have to like pull the strings on everything, and I have to be responsible for everything that I like come into contact with. And like, that's just, we're in relationship with everyone else and everything else. We're in like we interact and co-create everything all together. So to think that you have to know the, so like, or like even when people like, there's this new thing, this new idea, maybe it's not a new idea, but there's this kind of conversation that comes up a lot that I agree with, which is like, we're allowed to like critique the things that are in our life and like the systems and everything without like, and like we do it together, and not every person who has a critique has to have every single solution for something. But when you notice that something doesn't work, you can say, I don't think, this seems weird, this seems pretty bad, guys. Hey everyone, this seems pretty freaking not great. And that can be just a thing, and not like something that can be something you notice, and not like something that you base your entire identity around. Because again, like, it's not your responsibility to change the entire gaming community, or like the way that developers work, or the way that these companies handle, like, it's all like, everything's interconnected and everybody has a job. So it's not like your responsibility to like change the way everything works. You don't have to change the way everything works in order to find like the way that your job and the way that you interact within it. But most of the things that I think about in terms of like gaming and being a gamer, are just like, how am I going to have a fun, easier time being alive, playing video games, and also in general being alive. But mainly what I talk about is something that I think about a lot when I'm playing games with people, and like am part of the gaming community, and like talking about games, and like realizing the impact that they have on people, and the joy that they bring, and also the sorrow that they bring. And like, as much as, and I've even said like, oh, it's just a game, it's not real. It's like, it's not. Yeah, true. You don't want to be like, this game is my real life, because it's not. Games should enhance your life, not degrade or impede them. If you're playing a game a lot, it should kind of feel enhancing, I think, in some way, whether that's like you feeling like accomplished in some aspect of your life, or like as a hobby or as a sport to get better, or as like, you know, consuming lore. Love to consume lore recreationally. Delicious. Whatever that is, you know, you want it to add to your life. Anything that you're involving yourself in, you want it to add to your life and not impede it or destroy it or replace it. But in terms of like, I don't remember where I was going with this. In terms of like, gaming's not real, but it does matter. It does matter to people, and it forges relationships. And human beings love to play games in general. We play games. That's part of how we get creative. That's part of how we learn. That's part of how we reflect and grow. So games are essential to our humanity. Whatever kind of game you play, whether it's sports, whether it's video games, whether it's card games, whether like we love playing games. There is not, I hesitate, like not everybody's gonna call themselves a gamer, but there is a game for everybody because we love playing games. Our little brains fucking love that shit. And that's a lot of the time too, like fuck around, find out is like the way we've built our society. So as much as like, you know, a video game is not real, you also are kind of plugging in your real self into this situation when you do play video games or when you play any kind of games. And having a baseline for yourself about what you know about yourself, what you value, how you want to show up for things makes actually showing up for things way easier than if you're just raw dogging that shit, hoping for the best. But that's, you know, sometimes that's what we gotta do. Sometimes we're in survival mode and you don't know a whole lot and about yourself or about how you want to show up, and like that's, you know, everyone's journey is special and different. But for me, it's important for me to, if I'm setting something up for myself, if I am setting something up for myself, I'm allowing myself to see it as it is, and not as I hope or wish it, and not only as I like hope or wish it would be, or not as the worst thing that I could ever imagine. And I think, at least for me, I speak for myself, for a very long time, I was like, this is the worst. I'm gonna only think about the worst thing, the worst possible thing. And I'm going to be so afraid of anything happening. And then if anything happens, I'm gonna freak out. And then, because when you're only imagining the worst possible shit all the fucking time, when you expect things to go wrong, you lose the ability to even see when things go right. You literally can't see it. And it's all fake. Like, you're making up all the stuff that's bad is not real. That's all not real stuff. That's like future shit that is not real. And then when good things actually happen, your brain is so used to only thinking about bad shit that when good things actually happen, you can't even see it. You can't even tell when things are good or not. You wouldn't be able to tell. You wouldn't be able to tell a good thing if it kissed you straight on the mouth. And if it does, and when it does, you turn it into a bad thing because that's the only thing you're used to dealing with. So, like, not having expectations or not attaching to something, because you can, I mean, and foresight isn't the same thing as, like, worrying. Like, foresight, it's like, okay, well, I'm going camping. I probably need a backpack and a sleeping bag and, you know, yada, 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 all this stuff. Foresight. It's not the same thing as worrying. Worrying actually doesn't prepare you for anything. Worrying just freaks you out when you don't need to be freaked out. Not that, you know, worry happens, but like, Don't let worrying convince you that if I worry about everything enough, nothing bad will ever happen. Because when shitty things that we don't like happen, all the times that we worried about anything happening doesn't actually help in that moment either. So it's kind of like, well, if a bad thing happens, then that's when I will freak out, I guess. That's when I'm gonna deal with it. So what are your expectations for season 11? Are you withholding them? I don't. So I think the main theme is that I don't have any expectations for season 11. I'm not attached to anything. From what I've seen, and this is me going off of the tangible physical evidence, but like if I am going to have expectations, I would want them to be like the expectation of like knowing, and this is also a big thing too, like I personally trust Respawn. So like I personally have faith in Respawn Entertainment and what they do in the art that they make me after like, and that's like with like, that's from everything that I've experienced them creating up until now. I trust their creations. So in that vein, I imagine that this season's going to be pretty cool. In general, I enjoy what they make. I trust them. And that's another thing, like when you're dealing with something and all you can muster is like real trash expectations because all that thing, whether that's a person or an establishment or an experience, has been bad, because the only thing that you have in that experience is like bad stuff, it's kind of hard to imagine anything good coming from that. So based on, but I don't have like, I'm prepared to play it and then be like, oh, this is how I feel after I play it. And I gotta be able to do that, because I think this is another thing that we as people on the internet, but also like people in general, we gotta get used to stuff changing. Like Respawn's not gonna keep their shit the same all the time. They're just gonna change. And these games and the way we play games and the way that we play competitively and the way like things are just gonna change. And like, oh my God, I hate change. I get uncomfortable and I don't like it. But like, you don't even have to like it. You don't have to like it or dislike it. You don't actually have to feel anything for anything until you actually know how you feel for it. You just have to experience it and then say for yourself. But if the only thing that we can come up with is like we don't like something because it's different, that's kind of like, well, what have we been doing for millions of years? We used to be fucking amphibian things in the sea, you know? Like, what have we been doing? Like, we've just been changing. That's the only thing that we do is change and evolve and shift, and like that's all that we do. So kind of like, and we don't know what's gonna happen. So in terms of expectations, that's kind of, even just that definition of like expectations, that's kind of like hopeful. Generally hopeful. Want it to be fun. Seen the map. I like beautiful maps. I like new and interesting, and that's the other thing that I've found too, especially with this company, is that I like the new and interesting stuff that they do. Like, I think that they do try and make things like new and interesting, and they don't try to like coddle the player base so much in terms of like their art and the way that they're gonna express and tell their stories and release their characters and the way they're gonna balance stuff. And like, as much as like we get to interact with like devs, and there's, you know, streamers and competitors and community have influence over these games, kind of, The other thing that I really like about Respawn is that they are going to do the thing that they're going to do. And they're going to experiment and they're going to try new stuff. And we might not like it at times. Like, there's definitely been times. I mean, I was just saying how I fucking took a break from Apex. There's definitely times where I'm just like, oh, I can't with this game right now. And that's okay too. Like, walking, like, if it starts to feel like a grind, you fucking don't grind. Because grinding is only one way to do something. If it starts to feel like it's only a grind, I'm not actually even getting any enjoyment out of this. Like, what's the point? What's the, like, and that's how I generally feel about everything. Is that if it's gonna feel like only a grind, there's got to be a better way to do it. There's got to be a better way to interact with it. So in terms of like, I want to keep my mind open because I'm actually really excited for a new map. And I love when things look pretty, and I love when things look new, and I like skins. I also like the moment in a game. It's kind of like a great equalizer when we all get on a new map and nobody knows what's happening. Like, there's no, like, we're all trying to figure out where's high ground. We're all trying to figure out where the rings are. We're all trying to figure out. And for one glorious 24-hour period or so, we're all new again. Like, we're all new players again, kind of. Nobody knows where the best loot is. Nobody knows, like, we all have to jump random places. There's no fragment. There's no, what's the other place? Skull Town. There's no, what's the one on Olympus? Estates. There's no place that people are, like, it's new and exciting and everybody's in the same boat. And that moment for me is so fun. Because for that shining moment in a new season or especially with a new map, we all get to be like new players again. I don't know. It feels like a great equalizer, a new map. So it's not only like a new interesting thing that we can all experience as like fans or gamers or what have you, but it's also like energetically, like it's very like cleansing and new. It's like very new. Nobody knows what the hell's going on over here. And you get to discover new and interesting things, and you're like seeing what they're trying to do, and like that's other like you can like also the cool thing about like a new map and not knowing about what it is that you can like look at where this is where they wanted to put a choke point, or like this is where they wanted to you can appreciate it when it's new. You can appreciate it for like kind of as soon as you see it. If you're open to that, if you're open to appreciating something for like what it is and how you discover it, you can take so much in, especially if it's like new for everybody. And then eventually, you fucking hate an area, even though it's like beautiful looking, you fucking hate this area because all the sweats drop here or whatever. And things gain meaning, and influence and change, maybe. But for one shining moment, we will all be new again. And that's like one of my favorite things about a new map. But I'm trying, at least especially for this season, as the seasons go by, I try to keep an open mind about like what they're trying to do, because I don't know what they're trying to do. It's none of my business like how it unfolds for them. It's none of my business how it's playing out, because I don't know the first fucking thing about how you make something like that, even. And even if I did, it's not my thing. It's only something I participate in as a player. You get to see things through the eyes of the traveler. There we go. The traveler. The traveler, the one who sees, the one who knows. Yeah, it feels like such a shining moment, like an opportunity. I can see it as like an opportunity, like going into something unknown. I can see it as an opportunity to experience it my way, as opposed to, And I think I've only recently come to this conclusion for myself in gaming specifically, and perhaps in life, where it's worth it. It's worth it to try a new thing, or to experience something that maybe you don't know anything about, or to just experience a new thing. You know, experiencing a new map. Like, I know how to play Apex. And in a lot of ways, if you already play Apex or you already play a game and then they change something, it can feel really scary when they change something. But in a lot of ways, it's like the safest way to experience something new is within something you're already very familiar with. Kind of. Like, I think we feel kind of, I don't know. I've definitely felt like some kind of weird betrayal when something changes. Or like when something I really love or some mechanism that I participate in changes. And I feel betrayed because it's different now. But like the like main point is still the same. Like if a show changes the way that it does stuff. But I guess, and it's funny because I've like definitely stopped watching shows when it's like, well, I don't like this anymore. And that's also, you know, and the cool thing about experiences is you can always choose not to have them if you really don't want to, and not need that experience to be different, and just say like, okay, well, I started that show and it's not for me and I don't have to watch it, or I'm playing the new season right now and I really don't enjoy myself, I'm not going to play. Or yeah, I've been to that restaurant, I went to that, I'm eating here right now, and my date is a piece of shit and I want to leave. Like you can always just leave if you really don't like something. Like if something, but then also like not in terms of like, you don't have to set expectations, because whatever happens and you can leave if you want. You don't even have to know what's going to happen. You could just leave. Most of the time. Obviously for like extremely hard things like, I don't know, brain surgery or like having a baby. This is random as fuck. Yep, welcome. It's actually not random. It's like extremely planned, Semanusuke, but welcome in. But yeah, you can always just leave. If you really don't fucking like something, you don't need it to be different. If you don't like the game, stop playing. You don't like the situation, leave. It doesn't have to go the way you want it to for you to also pull your energy out of it. And go ahead and invest your time in experiences that you actually enjoy. All that to say, like, I know that there's gonna be something that nobody likes, you know? And I think there's things for everyone, and I don't even have to participate in the conversation that is about, like, I really don't participate in the conversation that of like, here's all the things that I don't like about Apex. Here's all the things that I don't like about this thing. Like, I rarely participate in, like, I shouldn't say rarely because that's not even true, but I choose my moments specifically to participate when I'm just like, I don't like this thing. There's nothing wrong with complaining. Sometimes we want to complain because, you know, it's fun. It's fun to bitch about something. It's fun to be self-righteously correct. It's so fun. Oh my god. Give me a soapbox. I fucking love a soapbox. But does it give me peace? Does it give me good feelings? Not a lot of the time, no, unfortunately. Unless I feel there's a point to be made, or unless, you know, it's a hard conversation that needs to be had or whatever. And that's moment by moment. And that's not me getting up every day ready to get on my soapbox. Like, if I'm ready to fight, then I will get into a fight, is unfortunately the what I've found, especially recently. If I'm ready, if I expect to be met with resistance in a day, whoa, ho, baby, am I meeting resistance that day? So trying to be open to how the game finds me in any general moment. And also, like, if I'm not ready, I'm ready to play Apex today. I didn't download the update yet, but it will be downloaded pretty soon. I'm ready to play. I like experiencing the new seasons. This is going to be the 11th one that I've experienced. So I'm ready. I've like so many things, and also like all the like technical stuff and like all of that stuff. Like I don't even know what the deal is with like, yeah, there we go. I don't even know what the deal is with like like the technical issues, like the servers and stuff. Like that's just what are those, just like patches that they put through as things happen. And that's kind of the other thing that I think, if something needs to be fixed, it's kind of got to be broken first, which I don't know if that's some kind of like blessing in disguise. But you know, sometimes people will go to the doctor because, you know, they're sick about something, and then they like actually find like a benign tumor or something, or like they find a tumor and they're able to remove it early, but that's because by chance the person like was sick with something else. Like it's almost like, I don't want to say, it's almost good that things break so that they can fix them. I'm also like, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But sometimes things are broken. I'm still like, I don't want to fix it. That's a pain in the ass. Things can get uncomfortable when you want to change them. But yeah, for me, I am open to it. The thing about servers is that like you can create test environments, but you really truly will not know how we'll handle the load until the load is loaded. And I think that's like the thing, though. I think if we get comfortable with that, I think that's a lot of things is the thing. I think this age of information has convinced us that we actually don't need to experience things, but being alive is just experiencing things. That's it. That's the point. So we think we can read enough, and I'm the worst. I love reading about something and getting prepared so that I'm not like blindsided, and we have that benefit. But even like you're like, the things with servers is you can create test environments, but you really truly will not know how it will handle the load until the load is loaded. And I think we're coming to an impasse too, because this like same sentiment is like, this should not be happening. But it's like, but it is happening. We can never predict what is actually going to happen until it happens, so there's no point, kind of, to do it all the time and then to expect like it to happen, like, and then every single time I'm sure it's like a different little problem. It's just a different little problem. I'm sure it's not the same problem every time, because if it was the same problem every time, it might be the same outcome. So like if the servers are overloaded or whatever, if the servers aren't working, queuing in's not working, I'm sure it's not always the same problem every time. The servers not working are a symptom of the problem. But it's not going to be the same problem every time. It's going to be a new problem, and that's why they don't work. Even with all the professionals putting their best foot forward, it still happens. It's not like they're not trying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so stuff like that, and like that's actually gives me like more hope, is that it's like, oh, this is a technical issue that they can solve. Like, this is something that like people know about, and they can like, in terms of like a game, getting a server to work and figuring out how that needs to work. I feel like in terms of like issues that need to be solved, that's actually something that can be solved. That's not like a amorphous moral issue that like people are disagreeing about. Like, that's not even on the high list of things that, oh no, we can't solve it. How will we do it? So it just, yeah, all that gaming nonsense, I feel like all that stuff gets solved pretty quick. I don't know. And it's only if you want to keep being upset, you get to. Hey. If you if that really gets your rocks off, you feel so peaceful and nice complaining about stuff, that makes you feel peaceful. And hey, maybe your goal isn't peace. Mine is. mine is. So I have not set any specific expectations. I do kind of expect to be a little ooh and ah. I'm kind of expecting some ooh and ah with the new map. I do love a new map. And I do love fancy shiny things. I'm hoping they have new voice lines. Like, I'm thinking in terms of like, oh, cool new stuff that I can see and experience. I think they're putting the R301 in the care package. Maybe a little wow. Exactly, maybe a little wow. I think they're putting new stuff is lit. Thank you, Mario. Yes, new stuff is incredibly lit. I do love to experience new stuff. And I'm actually experiencing way new stuff than I ever have before. G7 is in the package. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm okay with that. It doesn't matter if I'm okay with it. It's happening. It already happened. It happened today. And then something else we've talked about before is I'm not in resistance with it. With the double tap. Oh. Toggled on and off, I hope. Well, yeah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to us. Ooh, I'm interested. Ooh, I'm gonna see. With the double tap. Toggled on and off, I hope. Non-attachment. And when you're not attached to an outcome and you're not attached, you didn't set anything up beforehand and you're just letting it happen, you can just go with what's happening and respond the way that is mostly in your integrity. And you don't have to waste a lot of time, like, being disappointed. And you can have standards, because you can still be disappointed. Things can still disappoint you. Not having expectations doesn't save you from disappointment, but it mitigates it considerably, I would say. And you don't have to be stuck in disappointment, because really, you're just gaining information that you know, okay, well, I know this thing's not for me. That's kind of a bummer, but now I can move on because I didn't build anything based on this thing. I just experienced it. And then I also find more often than not, I am pleasantly surprised about stuff. If I allow things to surprise me, I am more pleasantly surprised than I am horribly disappointed. But there's gotta be the ability to allow myself to be surprised, because I will block you can block your blessings. I block my blessings. Sometimes you can block your abilities in the name of being safe or whatever. And sometimes that's fun, but more often than not, it blocks you from like the really cool stuff you can happen. So I feel pretty complete on expectations. Are you guys excited? Is anyone here excited? Or have you experienced the new update? Because it did drop, I'm pretty sure. I just have not installed it. I am playing this update later on Dr. Yesterday's channel later today at like 8:30 p.m. If you wanna hear my voice, he's streaming. I'm not streaming, but I am gonna be playing this update with him later. But I'm excited. I'm probably gonna install it after this here episode, which is pretty much over. I hope you are all excited for something new. I hope you guys are looking forward to stuff, whether it be this update or other things or other games. Yeah. I think I said all I needed to say. I didn't think of any bullet points. I kind of this was something that was on my mind, and it's something that I've been thinking about and working on for myself, and I wanted to bring it up and have a little chat convo with all of you. So I hope that you gained something at all from me having this chat. Best random ever. The show you're watching right now is on the Trident network. We're streaming a three-pronged network, streaming, video, and podcast network. If you want to go ahead, expectation management. There you go. Manage your expectations. Expectations managed. we got a lot of cool shows on Trident. We got a lot of cool podcasts. I wonder. Here's the I bet this is the socials. YouTube. There we go. There's all of our socials. We got some sweet ass places you can find us all. We got shows Monday. We got shows Tuesday. My show's on Tuesday. We got shows Wednesday. We got shows Thursday. And then as always, we also have, and then we have like YouTube, and we also have, a lot of cool podcasts. I gotta say, if you like podcasts, we got so many podcasts. I cannot think of them all just now. Wait, let me see. Podcasts? There we go. We have a slate of podcasts. Go check out the podcast. If you like podcasts, we got a whole bunch of different ones. So please go check those out if you do like podcasts. If you don't like podcasts, dear God, do not click on that link. But yeah. I hope you guys have a really great rest of your day. I'm gonna play Apex, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the new update. I hope you guys are excited about something. I will see you all very soon. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love yourselves. And love each other. My stream, I also stream. My stream is tomorrow. I'm doing a mustache stream with two of my friends. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna play some games. You can follow me there. If you don't already follow me, but I'm sure most of you already follow me. But I love you all dearly. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you next week. Same time, same place, 2 p.m. for more of Best Random Ever. Because you gotta be a good random to get good randoms. I'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.